Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Today is April 4th, episode 136. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up, man? And if you haven't heard, we released our big spoiler cast just a few days ago. And it's got our thoughts on Ready Player One, and a million other things. Far Cry, you name it. So go listen to that if you haven't heard it. We might talk a little bit about it here, but we'll stay pretty much spoiler free if we do, because that is our big spoil cast. So, so if you haven't listened to that, make sure you go do that. It should be on your podcast list if you're subscribed to us, and on our YouTube channel at We Geek Podcast. But man, how's your week been?
Oh, same old.
Same old. Work.
Yeah,
Has it gotten slowed down since Ready Player One came out?
It's well, it's just been. It was just this past week, so
Yeah,
it's
that's true. It's only been a few days since we talked, so yeah.
Well, it's gonna be like this week. I'm not sure what we're gonna get into, like in terms of I'm not sure just how busy we're gonna be. I guess we'll find out, but I don't think it's gonna be crazy this week. Next week is Rampage, not real. I don't think it's gonna draw too big. Super Troopers the week after, not gonna be a big draw, and then all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah.
Not looking for. I have to remember to take my earplugs on Thursday, because I can't, like when I'm holding the door open and everybody's walking out talking about everything they just saw, I'm gonna have an earpiece in one ear and trying to jam my fingers in my other ear. I'm just gonna take my earplugs this week.
Oh yeah.
Like it's gonna be nuts. It worked okay with Star Wars. Like it turned out all right, but I'm not taking any chances.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I do not blame you. This week is what? Blockers?
Yeah, Blockers, Chappaquiddick, A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is this week. That's what I'm looking forward to. I think that's gonna be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I hear A Quiet Place is good.
And there's the Miracle Season, or whatever, the high school volleyball movie.
Oh, that we've already seen.
Right, the one that basically tells you in the trailer they didn't think they could win, and then they won the movie. Right. It's like, oh, thanks for,
Yeah, and it looks like a Lifetime Network channel movie anyway.
Basically, yeah. It's like they spent a little extra budget to get some bigger names for it so that they could put it out in theaters, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so that should be cool. Yeah, if I see anything, I don't know if I'm going to go this weekend, but if I see anything, it would be A Quiet Place. Because the reviews are just they're really good.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea. That's gonna be. I don't know. I'm torn between that and Blockers, because Blockers might be funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. My expectations for this are slightly higher than they were for Game Night, and Game Night turned out to be awesome. So who knows?
Right. That's true. Who's making Blockers again? It seems like it'd be what's his face, the guy who did
it's not a Seth Rogen movie.
No. Okay.
Or Judd Apatow. I don't know which one.
I was thinking Judd Apatow.
Yeah, I don't think. I can look real quick, but
I know his wife's in it. Lisa Mann's in it, correct?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
Just 'cause
she's in a lot of those kind of movies.
Yeah. Let's see who is. If I can pull this up on. It's gonna pull this up on the app. I don't want this up on the app. Just give me a. Directed by Kay Cannon, who's a first-time director. Good for her.
Okay.
Written by Brian and Jim Cahoe, who I don't know offhand.
Okay.
But interesting. Because it does seem like a very Judd Apatow kind of movie.
Yeah, and we don't really get those too often anymore. So, I hope it's good. I've seen John Cena do a lot of press tour on it, and it's been funny to watch him.
Yeah.
His timing is just so good.
His comedic timing is pretty spot on.
It is, absolutely, and he play the way he is in real life on his shows and whatnot is so serious but you can tell that he's in on the joke, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's the timing that just nails it. So I don't know. I'm excited to see him in a lot more things and to see him kind of grow, and hopefully we get more of like what The Rock does with him. So, but yeah, so we know that he's willing to kind of do anything, especially what we've seen him do in the trailer.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is John's, and to be fair, John's, I don't know. I think in his winding down his wrestling career, I think taking his acting career more seriously and focusing more on that has actually given him a little perspective on his wrestling career. I don't think full-time John Cena gives the promo that he did on Raw this week.
No, I did not see that. That was like one of the things I missed because Raw was boring as hell.
It really was. Even for a go-home show, it was like, wow, this is bad. Like,
why did Rusev like him? I saw a tweet.
Because that's what John did. Like when he talked about he was going to WrestleMania as a fan because Undertaker didn't show up. Which I still think he will at some point this week.
Oh yeah.
But John basically just put over every match. Talked about how proud he was of guys like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and how awesome how hyped he was for all the women's matches, and he said, hell, I'm even proud that WrestleMania falls on Rusev Day.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, he gave a full, like, I'm happy to sit here and watch all this awesome stuff promo. And
I like this side of him.
It really is a good side of John to see him say, you know what, and it was a great promo to explain why, he talked about, well, just, declare yourself for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or one of these other matches. And he went, no, he stopped just short of saying that's what everybody always criticizes me for doing. Right. But it was his way of answering that, of just saying, I don't want to do that because I'd be taking a spot away from somebody else. And that's why I called out The Undertaker, because here it is, two old guys who aren't taking the spot from anybody else.
It makes sense. I like that.
I'm telling you what, man, this has been some of Cena's best work in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It's really been, I mean, Cena's always on point, but usually it just gets boring real fast because it's kind of the same old crap. But to see him cut more loose in terms of getting real, I mean, he's cut loose before, but I mean, it was always within, it was still within the wrestling world. But to watch him cut down Roman Reigns in that promo, like that was vicious. That was just nasty.
Oh yeah.
But to see when John is just John, it's really impressive, and it translates into his acting career. Like, you can see the talent and the charisma and the timing, and he's really got it.
Oh yeah, and now he's getting way more prominent roles instead of just like a quick scene.
Well, I mean, that's how you start. Even if you're a big name, I mean, The Rock was like that.
Oh yeah, man. The Rock's first big picture when he was the Scorpion King, I fell asleep. Yeah. First movie I ever fell asleep in the theater, and I honestly I was like, this is so boring. I'm not going to be watching. Like, if I see he's going to be in another movie, I'm just not going to watch it. And boy, was I wrong. And even some of his, but I could see even like in a few movies after that, like even what was that one, Walking Tall? It's bad, but it's not like he's decent in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fairly like kind of run of the millish movie, but his performance is pretty good.
Yeah. And so you slowly start to see it get better and better, and so I hope this one takes off. I hope Blockers does good, but. I don't know, man. I really want to see Ready Player One again. That's the thing.
I went again. I went again Monday, and I was
Oh yeah.
I love this. It flies. It flies by. Like when it was over, I was like, God, this was 2 hours. This was almost
Oh, yeah.
2.5 hours, and it doesn't feel like it. It so does not drag at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I started diving into a lot of like behind the scenes and documentary stuff about Spielberg himself. Did you know HBO has a documentary on him?
Really, I'm not surprised. They got a documentary
Yeah.
on everybody. But
It came out like October last year, and it's just called Spielberg. And I got about halfway through because it was super late last night. But it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Of what I saw of it, just a lot of stuff I didn't know. You know, they really go into detail about, like, you know, he would sneak into lots. He snuck into the Universal lot when he was 16 years old. And he told the story different ways, but essentially he said he got a pass that lasted for 3 days. But the guy at the gate, he made sure that the guy at the gate noticed him, and he said hi to him each and every time. And thankfully, on the 4th day when his pass was up, he knew he couldn't show it to him, and he just waved, and the guy waved back. And he spent all summer basically Phantom of the Operaing the studio.
Nice.
And he would go from movie to movie. He watched Hitchcock. The only film that he got kicked out of was a Hitchcock movie, where he I forget the movie that they were shooting, but he went to go sit down in the theater as an extra, and he's like, some guy came up to him and was like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here," and he left. He talks about people playing a prank on him. Say, "Hey, go take this over here, go get this over there, go pick up this thing." He said he told all of the people that were editors that he wasn't supposed to be there, and they were totally fine with it. They're like, "That's fine, come, we'll teach you," and they totally didn't care because he wasn't really causing any trouble. He was just wanting to absorb it. And so, it was he told a funny story about how they told him to go get something out of one of the rooms, and he went to go get it, and he said there was a guy there with, he looked like he was naked, but he had to have had bathing suit trunks on or something, but he only could see him from the waist up. And he went there to get it, and he realized it was Martin Brandau. And he screamed at him and yelled at him. He's like, "That's the only time I've ever met that man." And so, like, it's just these cool stories of, of course, he didn't go to film school or anything like that. So it was just a fascinating documentary about how he did it, and, how him and, people like George Lucas and Scorsese and all of the people coming up then just really changed Hollywood. But I've been diving into a lot of those things on like YouTube and stuff like that because I find that stuff so fascinating. It's such a career that Spielberg has. Man, they need to make a TV show about him or a movie. I don't like the idea that we have to wait for these great people to pass away to kind of hear their life story.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, because he's probably gonna live on for a while longer, and I don't want to wait until I'm old to, But I guess you get into a weird area where like he'd still be alive listening to the story,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
I mean, once your career gets to a certain point, I mean, a retrospective isn't the worst thing in the world.
It's true. That's
Like
true.
I don't really need one on like J.J. Abrams right now. Like,
No, not J.J. Abrams, but Spielberg. He's kind of, he's probably got 5 pictures left at most. I'm thinking.
Well, he's already got his next 2 lined up.
He's got his next 2, and I believe Indy will be his final one. I have a feeling him and Harrison are going to go out on that film together.
I think Harrison might, but I don't think Steven's done.
No?
I don't think so. I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Well, hey, I don't, I wish he keeps making them too. So, but it was just, it just goes into detail about E.T. and all these other films and like just little nitpicks that I just didn't pick up, and just cool things that you would never know. Like he talks about wanting to get M&Ms, but they couldn't, so that's why they got Reese's Pieces, and he shot that film in every scene in order, as if he was telling the story from the beginning till the end, which you normally don't do that with movies, but it was easier for the kids to understand and to have an emotional response at the right time.
Yeah.
So I thought that, just little things like that I thought was so fascinating. But anyway, yeah, that's what I've been doing this week since we've talked, is just kind of diving into that kind of stuff. Watched a little bit of wrestling, which I'm sure we'll talk to at the end of the show about Mania, because we're on the road. We're there. We hit some potholes, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to fast forward 6 months, 5 months from now.
I just want to go 6 days. Just send me to Monday. Like I can't. I'm excited for next Monday's Raw, just to see, like, next Monday and Tuesday, to see who gets called up.
Right.
And like, because there's not going to be like a giant surprise debut. It's all going to be call ups. Which, I mean, it's fine, whatever. But like, we'll see Gargano come up. We'll see whoever loses the NXT title match will come up. Whether it's Almas or Alistair, either one's gonna come up.
Yeah.
We may see Big Cass return. I don't know the status on his rehab.
You think he'd be Braun's partner?
There's a thought.
When he started talking about, there's a guy back there and he's kind of like me, I thought, oh, and he's a little bit different. I thought they were going to go with Big Cass, because Big Cass is a big dude.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, the idea of the Strowman's brains and Braun, like, that
Right.
was just beautiful. Like, that was hysterical. I loved it. And I love that Braun just kind of grabs these ideas and goes with it. Like,
I thought that was good.
Braun is an absolute treasure, and he should be Universal Champ forever.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my nitpicks about this Mania, is he really should be in there.
Yeah.
Even if I wish it wasn't. Honestly, I hate to say this, but I'd rather it be Reigns versus Braun than Brock versus Reigns at this point. But I don't know. I still subscribe to the idea that I really hope, or at least I hope, that we all know Bliss is probably going to lose her match, but I hope that she comes out for the tag team with Braun, and this becomes more than just the mixed match challenge, and she becomes like she wouldn't be the first female tag team champion, right?
I want to say yes, but they did a lot during the Attitude Era that I just can't. Like, they did so much, I can't keep track of all of it.
Right.
So I mean,
but it would be the first for kind of the new age.
It would be that she'd be the first women's Raw tag team champion. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And see, that would be a nice surprise. That would, because I even saw that they were making toys of them two together, the Little Big.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, that's great and all, but I hate that idea.
Why? I love that he's so over by himself that he could take on a tag team by himself.
So then why, Alexa's off doing her own thing, and I get it. They had tremendous chemistry in a lot of different ways during the mixed match challenge, but. Yeah. No.
Well, for one, he shouldn't even be involved in it. Let me state that. I don't think he should even be involved in the tag team titles. I think that shows how weak that division is on Raw right now. But the fact that he is in it, I don't know anyone else I'd rather see come out to be with him.
Yeah.
Maybe Big Cass. We've heard about Rey Mysterio.
I don't think his biceps healed enough yet. I don't think he's cleared.
Elias probably,
Nah, I don't think Elias. I think they would have teased something between now and then. Like, I think there would have been a bump backstage or something. Like, No, I think Elias at Mania is. I don't even know if he's going to be in the Battle Royal. I think it's just going to be him and The Rock having a sing off.
Maybe it's Bray.
Did you see the Instagram picture?
Yeah.
I don't know, like that
would be a weird thing to come back to after the whole.
It would.
Jumped in a lake, baptized or whatever.
That's why I wouldn't really be down for that. It's like, but they, like, that storyline had no payoff. Like, Bray has to come back in the context of the Woken universe.
Exactly. And I'm sure we'll get that Monday or something. I hope that and I actually want Matt to win that.
I don't care who wins it because it's never mattered.
It's never mattered, but I think that he would do the best job making something out of it.
I agree.
He's made his lawnmower into a T-shirt.
Right. Yeah.
So, so that's why I think, what would Baron Corbin do with again? What would any of these other people? I think he would be the one that would make this idol that, I don't know, you could go anywhere with him with that, where it's just this thing that, I don't know, I just think he would be the most creative with it and make it something out of nothing.
I definitely agree. I think if there's anybody who could just grab that and run with it, it would absolutely be Matt. No question.
Oh yeah. Well, should we put a pin in this and come back to the wrestling afterwards?
We'll come back to Mania Week.
We get so excited. Yep. But yeah, let's talk about box office numbers here.
Yeah. So I was right / a little bit wrong, depending on which numbers you want to go with. Because I thought 50 at the high end, and for the 3-day total, for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Ready Player One took in just short of 42 million. Okay. If you add in Thursday, that jumps to just short of 54 million. So they had like they did like 12 something million on Thursday, which was good for it, and it's a nice, solid, strong showing. It crushed overseas. It's gonna be a behemoth overseas until Avengers, without question. I
saw China pushed it past 200 million.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I mean, good for it. I'm happy. I'm thrilled it's making money.
Oh yeah.
But and this is a movie that's gonna do well in the box office, and it's gonna do well on home video. Like, this is gonna be a nice solid 1-2 punch of a film.
How much was something like Ready Player One cost? Where would be
production budget? 150, maybe 2. Easy, especially with as much as I love Black Panther, that CGI fight towards the end looked off.
Right.
It did. No disrespect to anybody who worked on it, because God knows I couldn't do anything. I can't do a CGI stick figure, but it did look. It looked a little off, and then you watch something like Ready Player One, and it's just, it not only is it seamless, but it's gorgeous, and the scenes that towards the end where you have a clearly fake character in a real world, and you can't, he only looks out of place because he's digital.
Right.
But it's crazy how good that CGI was.
They did. You were right. It's 175 million.
It sounds about right. And you figure another 100 for advertising, close to it, maybe somewhere between 75 and 100. So we'll call it 275 total budget.
Yeah. I think it'll make more than enough to, if they did want to do a sequel, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
No, but I'm all right with him just leaving it at this. I'm okay.
No, I know. If you haven't heard, go listen to our spoiler cast. We go into full detail there. But yeah, and like you said, I think it helps that it is a video game, so you're already like, okay, these are video game characters. But like you said, when it's the real world, especially stuff with there's scenes in the movie that take place in a movie, and I don't want to spoil it, but the way their characters interact in that space, it's so well done.
Yeah,
it's so well shot, and it's just your mind just it glosses over all of that, and it just looks beautiful. But yeah, so I'm glad to see it's doing good. Glad to see. And I think, like you said, we'll probably get it this weekend, and then, whatever the next pick. What's the next big one? What'd you say it was?
The next big one is obviously Avengers. Next week, Blockers maybe.
Blockers and then Rampage maybe.
Blockers and then Rampage. I don't know if Blockers. Yes, I do. Blockers will be number 1 next week.
Okay.
Just because it's going to do, I don't know, I want to say 30-ish. And I think Ready Player One dips below that. I think it goes down to 25, maybe 20.
Yeah.
And then Rampage the following week, number 1, so on and so on.
Yeah.
But it's it'll have a decent run. It'll make 100 domestic before it's over.
Right.
But yeah, that overseas is ridiculous. Those numbers are just.
Yeah. Yeah, China really loved it.
Yeah, well, good for them. As well they should.
Oh, yeah. What are some of the other movies?
This week, we had, if we're looking at this week's box office, Tyler Perry's Acrimony at $17 million. Black Panther, about $11.5 million. That puts it at $650 total. And I think either with that or with Monday's earnings, that pushed it past Jurassic World, which is bonkers. Just absolutely crazy. The 4th highest domestic total ever. Not adjusting for inflation, because nobody adjusts for inflation, because that's ridiculous. But
right.
I Can Only Imagine, $10.5 million. That's a movie that I think really surprised some people, and I'm not quite sure why. Like I guess they didn't think it was gonna take off the way it did. And I think it was underestimated. I think it was tremendously underestimated.
Yeah.
No question. And Pacific Rim Uprising, a little over $9 million, just shy of 46 total, which is a bummer because that's going to go down as a loss.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to go down as a loss for sure.
Yeah.
What's going to be interesting is next week's show, we'll be talking about how Black Panther beat Titanic domestically for 3rd all time.
That's crazy.
Which is insane. That's when it's 659 and change is Titanic.
So what's after Titanic? I imagine it's Star Wars and Avatar?
Avatar second, Star Wars first. And it's not going to catch Avatar. Avatar is sitting at 760. And
yeah.
It doesn't have enough time. There's no way.
Right. Yeah, Avatar, yeah. That just, it definitely had that whole shot in 3D thing going for it.
Well, and it had nothing else coming out for a month. Like, it came out on Christmas back when there was nothing really that came out on Christmas.
That's true.
It was in theater. It ran at number 1. Well, hell, it was 5 weeks. It was the last one to go number 1 5 weeks straight.
Right. But it was the experience, like, hey, you've never experienced this before. Go see this movie in the IMAX 3D, because everything 3D you saw before that, just completely different. So it'll always kind of have that. That's why it'll be much bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the movies that came out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how next week looks. And man, just Black Panther just keeps it going.
Keeps on making money. Man.
Oh yeah. You think it'll still be in the theater even when Avengers comes out, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there'll still be some theaters showing it. I say that because I'm trying.
But there is a lot coming out, so they might push it out.
That's the thing. There is a ton coming out just in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because you've got 4 this week, and then what the hell's next week? The 13th is Rampage and something else. I know there's something else the 13th that I can't remember. The 20th is Super Troopers and I Feel Pretty, which is going to take some theaters for some reason, I guess. I'm sorry, that movie just looks awful. It really does just look terrible.
Yeah.
And then, Avengers is going to take... It'll be gone if it's not gone before, it'll be gone when Avengers comes out.
Right.
Just because Avengers is going to push out so many movies. Like, I will guarantee you we won't have Chappaquiddick, The Miracle Season, or maybe even I Feel Pretty at that point. Just because I know we're going to have Avengers in at least 3 theaters plus a 3D, probably.
Yeah.
And we're a 15, so that's 11 theaters and still some decent movies left. I don't know.
Oh, no.
It'll be interesting to see what we still have. It's not going to matter
Right.
And hell, we may have to put Avengers in another theater, at least especially opening weekend. Because, I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bigger than The Last Jedi. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And Last Jedi was not fun. Oh.
Yeah.
But I got my earplugs. I'm good.
Yep. I got my ticket, man. I'm excited.
I got mine. I got mine all set and ready.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. We got we kind of already talked about what's coming. We got Blockers in A Quiet Place. What's this other one?
Chappaquiddick. It's the story of Ted Kennedy.
Oh.
The one where he was up in Chappaquiddick, and I can't remember what state that's in, and was in an accident, and there was a woman that died, and it was a whole big story, and it kind of, like, he was going to be, it was another thing of, like, he was going to be president, and then this happened, and so that didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. That was the one where he was drunk and didn't call. Yeah. It's just terrible.
It's a whole bad situation from start to finish.
Yeah. So, if you want a good feel-good movie, don't go see that.
Well, that depends on your political bent, I think.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. That's interesting. The Miracle Season. Now, we talked about that?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. The volleyball movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's that one. That's gonna do. That's a movie that's gonna make enough money to not be a write-off, but only because it probably cost very little to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not gonna be a big return on this.
Yeah. Well, let's see, what else do we got here? We got some Fox Searchlight news. The studio signs Del Toro. Sorry, I gotta take a drink.
Yeah, they basically said we're doing they're kind of launching their own sort of label in a sense. That's just gonna be like fantasy and sci-fi and horror movies. And they said, hey, we need somebody to kind of like Godfather all this. And they looked around and basically, it was that kind of thing where I'm sure, if you saw this in a show, it would be like they just stared at Guillermo del Toro, and he was just kind of looking around like, yeah, I wonder who'd be good for that. Like looking at like, well, he'd probably do good, or she'd be all right. Oh, me? Like,
yeah.
But that'll be good. That'll be good. Del Toro, this is a great niche for him. It's gonna be this kind of like mid to low budget, like Shape of Water was, just kind of like that mid-low budget, but creative, and I think that's where he really shines.
Right. Yeah, should be good. I'm trying to think. Didn't he tease recently about Dark Justice League?
Oh, that's been in the books for a long time.
Justice League Dark?
Yeah, that's been he's been working on that for years.
He's not still attached to that, right?
I don't know. I honestly do not know. I think it's one of those projects that nobody's really attached to at the moment, especially given the way everything's gone over there.
Right. Okay. We got some Wonder Woman 2 news. Pedro Pascal from Narcos joins the cast as unannounced role.
Yeah, they've been really tight-lipped on all this.
Yeah. Wonder who he'd play.
I don't have a clue. I don't. I'm not up on my Wonder Woman mythos, so I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Yeah, me either. We got some Jurassic World 3 news. Colin Trevorrow returning to direct the third film after not directing the sequel.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't do the sequel. I don't know if it was a scheduling thing or a studio thing, but they went a different way. And okay, cool, it's fine, whatever.
Well, he was gonna do Star Wars episode. He was gonna do episode 9, and then it changed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So man, imagine that. I think that's So he probably he probably denied Jurassic World 2 to do Star Wars, and then ended up not doing it.
Yeah, more than likely.
I can't feel too bad for these people. They're making great, crazy movies.
Yeah, it's hard to feel bad. Really.
Yeah. But that's cool. So I like Jurassic World. I know a lot of people like to hate on it, but I thought it was pretty good.
I enjoyed it. I loved it for what it was. It was a retracing of the steps of the first one in its own way. And yeah, the second one looks like a retracing of the steps of the second one. I don't care. I'm fine with that. I don't need. But as long as the third one doesn't retrace the steps of the third one, then because the third one not so great.
Right.
But.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. That's 2.5 months down the road. So we'll see what kind of shape I'm in by then.
Oh yeah.
God, I'm looking at the end of June, like how exhausted I'm gonna be, and I'm like, that's not even that's the beginning of the summer.
Right.
Oh.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
No, I am too. I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Jurassic World 3, I think, comes out like 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah,
right?
What did they want? 2020, I think.
Yeah.
They were shooting for 2020. It'll probably wind up being 2021.
Yeah. So that's cool. More Chris Pratt. Man, have you followed him on Instagram?
No. Is it funny? Is it insightful? What is it?
It's funny. It's insightful. It's interesting. He lives on a farm, and which is, I like that he's just so not anti-Hollywood, but he's just so not Hollywood.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. He's gotten a lot of grief because he posted a bunch of sheep and stuff like that, and one of their, I think, lambs or whatnot, he ended up killing it because it was its time or whatever, and he ended up eating it and used every part of it, and people jumped on him for that, but he's like, I have a farm. This is what happens to the animals.
Right. I'm sorry, your Big Mac had to come from somewhere.
It's really odd. It was really odd. And he posted a few other things because of that, after his story, and he's like, hey, look, I get it if eating meat's not your thing, but we used every part of that animal. Every part went to something, and that's what's going to happen to a lot of these animals on my farm. And it's different when you're doing it yourself than instead of going into the grocery store and stuff like that. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. It's just he lives such a different life than what you would think. Someone his caliber now in Hollywood does. So, but it's pretty cool. He's got he does a lot of not motivational stuff, but just it's nice to scroll through Instagram, seeing you see all this terrible stuff, and then you get to him, and it's like, oh, that's nice, But I don't know. I thought it was cool. But yeah,
that's neat. You like seeing stuff like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the Tommy Knockers. So tell me about this.
Yeah, this was a Stephen King book that was actually at its time was a better seller. It was his second best seller. I think it beat out Salem's Lot and It and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was huge. It's been made into a series a couple of times, and you can tell by the fact that they've done it a couple of times means they've just been hugely successful. But James Wan from The Conjuring and all kinds of stuff, and Roy Lee, who was one of the producers on It, are working on adapting it. It's I don't know. It's this weird I don't know, because I've read bits and pieces of it once upon a time, and it's there's a thing in the woods, and it infects a town, or it influences a town, or hypnotizes a town, or something. It's weird. But I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Creed 2 started production.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
It's it's weird because it's it's got a lot of elements that I'm not crazy about. I really don't. I don't want particularly to see like, oh, and now Apollo Creed's kid's gonna fight Ivan Drago's kid, but like it has to happen. Like this
Right.
is you can't get away from it. Like this is a
Right.
thing that just has to be done. But it's I don't know. We'll see.
It'll be fun. It'll be cool. It's a Rocky movie, and it's what the last one was great. So
Yeah, but it's not the Stephen Caple Jr. is directing it. It's not Coogler
Right.
this time.
That's true.
But I mean, he's not done much. The Land and Grownish and an episode of Grownish are pretty much everything that he's done. So it's a new, he's kind of brand new here.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see it. I'm just not quite as hyped for it as I was for the first one.
Right. To be fair, Ryan was pretty brand new when he did Creed.
But he was coming off Fruitvale Station, and that. So I mean, he had a lot of buzz for that, and he wrote.
True.
He wrote Creed too. He co-wrote it.
Okay.
So
that's true.
This, this one is. This one's a Stallone script, so take that however you like. He did.
Turns out his brother's a nightmare. I didn't even know he had a brother.
Who, Stallone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shock.
Crazy.
Was it his I thought it was like his cousin or his uncle or something. It was his brother?
I think it's his brother.
Okay.
Yeah, his younger brother. Frank Stallone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Frank.
Crazy person.
Yeah, I love somebody called for a boycott of Frank Stallone and everybody just kind of went, who?
I think someone, who was it? They're like, oh yeah, that happened in the 80s or 70s or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's weird. It's like when you see Scott Baio come out and he's going to say something and you're like, wait a minute, weren't you relevant last 35 years ago or something? Like, what
Right.
What the hell, man? Like, do something, you'll be relevant, do something interesting. Like,
yeah.
But,
kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Creed 2. So looking forward to that.
I am too.
Yeah. We're getting some Westworld news. Now, I didn't see the new trailer. How was it?
It's creepy. It's very creepy. I dug it. I liked it a lot.
I need to rewatch the last episode, I think. Some stuff I'm a little bit foggy on how it ended up.
That's fair. We don't see a whole lot of the new place in this new trailer.
I don't think we'll probably spend a lot of time in it. I think it was a cool tease, but I don't know.
It looks like it's going to wind up being important, at least in one story.
Right.
But it looks like most of the characters are still actually in Westworld.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, that should be cool. That starts in a few weeks, right?
God, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oy,
I'm pretty sure. Westworld Season 2...
It does sound right. Like, April...
March... Oh, yeah, wait, what am I talking about? March. April 22nd in the UK. I'm sorry, April 22nd. And then it'll be showing again, I guess, on the 23rd. So, yeah, the 22nd.
Okay, cool.
So, end of the month.
Yep.
So, that should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm
looking forward to the Andre the Giant documentary finally comes out on Tuesday.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing commercials for that months ago. I'm like, why are they showing this so far away?
Yeah, build the hype.
Yeah. I wanted to go watch it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait, man. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into some we're already in TV news. So Cursed.
Yeah, this looks interesting. Frank Miller and Tom Wheeler are doing a series based on a comic series, graphic novel series that they haven't done yet. So I don't know if this is going to be the same thing, just working in tandem, or if one's going to be a complement of the other. I don't know.
That's odd.
They're also going to executive produce this series, and it's a Netflix series. I think I saw it said Netflix. It's 10 episode. Yeah, it's 10 episode Netflix series, and it focuses on a girl named Nimue, who becomes the Lady of the Lake. And I thought, well, that's an interesting spin on Arthurian legend. Like that's an angle we haven't come at this before, really.
Right.
So.
Right.
You know, it's different. I'm all for that. It's a different way of looking at this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But
that'd be cool. The League of Their Own. Got some League of Their Own news. Will Graham, Mozart in the Jungle, and Abby Jacobson, Broad City, developing on Amazon, and it'll be based on the 1992 film.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks said, "There's no crying in baseball."
Baseball? Yep.
I can't believe they're doing a TV series based off of it, but you know, hey, what the hell? Everything that's old is new again.
Yeah, I mean, once they made Psycho a TV show, it kind of opened the floodgates.
Yeah, and to be fair, Bates Motel, you know, I still haven't seen it.
It's good.
But that's what I've been hearing, was that, you know, it was actually really well done.
Oh yeah, the girl I went with to Ready Player One, she was like, I recognize that face. That's someone's face I know. That's the girl from Bates Motel. And bam, once it showed her in real life, I was like, oh wow, you're right. Spot on. Yeah, it's a good show. I didn't see the last season.
Okay.
The last season I didn't see, but oh man, they do stuff with that show that was just not expecting. Like, you know, you kind of like, okay, you see, like, okay, I could see where this is going if you follow the movie, but there's a lot of stuff in between that, and a lot of twists and turns and stuff that's just really interesting.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that they're doing Stranger Things at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah, they're adding a Stranger Things attraction, which I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, now they've got creatures to work with, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have really done that a year ago because they just had the one, basically.
That's true.
But,
yeah.
you know, now they've got the what do they call it? The Mind Flayer? Is that what it was called, I think?
Yeah.
And the Demo Dogs, and, you know, they have places they can go with that now.
Oh, yeah. And the whole upside down, that's just going to look so cool.
Yeah.
The ashes and stuff floating around. Ooh, it's gonna be awesome.
There'll be Christmas lights on the walls, probably spelling out "run" or "escape" or something.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing about that place. It's like you're in line for 2 hours and then you get pushed through this thing for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, and there, you know, I went once because I thought, well, I haven't done haunted houses like in a very long time, and then I got there and I was like, oh, and I remember why, because I don't really enjoy them.
Yeah.
I'm not a haunted house fan. You know, they serve a great purpose. People love them, and I applaud the creativity behind a lot of them. You know, good on you. Just not, just not my thing.
Right. And, you know, I feel like you're absolutely right. I feel like because it's in my backyard, like, why not? You know? I haven't been in years, and it seems like every time I go, there's like a 4 or 5 year gap. And it's just vastly different.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time.
They amp it up. Like, when the one year they did a whole Walking Dead thing, and it legit felt like you were on the set of The Walking Dead.
Nice.
Yeah, the music, the all of the ambience, it was insane. And that's when Walking Dead was, like, just getting just so popular. That it was really cool. But yeah, the lines. I guess go with people, go with a good group of friends, you know. We played that game where you put your cell phone up to your head and it has the thing you have to guess.
Okay.
Have you ever played that?
No.
It's called Heads Up. It's an old game. I mean, they even did it in what's that movie? Inglourious Bastards, where they're sitting around the table and they have they have a thing on their head.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
And so, like, you know, you have it up, you can't see it. Everyone else, they have to describe it in certain ways, and you have to guess what it is. So you can do that with movies and stuff like that. You can't name an actor, but you can name like a premise or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'd love to be like I'd love to be somebody at haunted houses who like who's part of it and just like at some point gets in line or like try like kind of gets stuffed in line like, hey, sorry they put me up here, whatever, blah blah blah, and just try to make conversation with some people, and then like halfway through somebody comes out and grabs me and drags me away, and everybody just freaks out because they're like, holy was that part of it? What is going on here? Like, I always thought that would be a fun twist, to have like plants in line, just normal people, and have something like that happen to them, just to really mess with everybody's head.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, that would be fun. Well, they make like, I mean, Universal is a theme park, so it's a theme park one, but there's a lot of like
some of them are insane. Some of them are genuinely insane.
Yeah, the ones run by people where like you have to sign things saying that you won't sue them because they're gonna stick your head in worms and stuff.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Those are those are just like that's not what a haunted house is to me. Like
right.
If that's your thing and you want to go do that, I mean that's out there for you. But like that's not what a haunted house is supposed to be.
Right. Absolutely. We got some CW news, networks for news, basically everything.
Yeah, pretty like everything except like iZombie and the 100, and there was something else, just because they're mid-season shows, so they don't have to be picked up yet.
Okay.
Like their entire normal season schedule, all the DC stuff. Supernatural got picked up again, which they were all talking like this was the last season, but apparently not. But like everything that's like regular season stuff got picked up.
Do you still watch Supernatural?
I do, actually. I'm just a couple episodes behind, which includes the Scooby Natural episode that they did, which I really can't wait to see.
Do you think that's the one where they go, we jumped the shark?
Oh man, they know they jumped the shark a long time ago.
A long time ago.
They know that they jumped the shark. Because it got to the point where they were like, here are these creatures that are just like nobody talks about, and you can't kill them except to cut their heads off and soak them in borax. And it's just like they knew after that season that it was like, look, this is just never going to stop being any less ridiculous. Right. So they just kind of grabbed it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And it's been good. I have enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite posts was somebody. It was something from Tumblr that I've seen make the rounds forever. Somebody was saying like Supernatural was kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like they beat one enemy and then immediately it's like, oh no, you beat the devil, but here's the devil's brother Phil, who's more powerful than him, and nobody's ever mentioned him before. And then the very next comment was that same creator saying, I have all these people messaging me saying, no, his name's Metatron. I can't even make fun of this show. Because it is. It absolutely is the same thing of like, how do we just keep ramping it up and ramping it up and ramping it up?
Right.
And I was kind of looking forward to this being the last season just because
Well, just wait until they have a tournament of universes.
Dude, in this season, they're in alternate universes. They go back and forth. So, like, you see, it's the same thing. Of like, oh, well, wait till they do different universes. Yeah, they're doing that.
Right.
So what's next? And they're dragging people from that universe into this one and vice versa to see who's stronger and who can take over and who can conquer. And it really is the same thing of just like, oh my god, you can't. And that's kind of why I was sort of hoping that it was going to be over, just because I don't know where they go from here.
Right.
There is no higher or lower for them to go, really. There's just not.
I mean, they went into a cartoon, so
yeah.
That to me says everything. Like once you're interdimensional hopping, and now you're in a cartoon world. Like now that you've done, Scooby Doo, jump into South Park next. Like we're do an episode about World of Warcraft. Like where do you go? A ghost haunting a game, maybe.
I'm
sure they did that.
I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't remember one, but I'm pretty sure there's been one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like Goosebumps at that point.
You're not wrong. You're very not wrong.
Yeah.
Especially the first handful of seasons where it was kind of Monster of the Week. It was very much like grown-up Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then it got weird, and then they righted it, and then I think they went too far, and they've just kind of grabbed it and gone with it. So it's still enjoyable, but I don't know where we go after this season. I really have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I want to jump on that show, but it just seems so daunting.
It's one where I don't want to say you don't have to watch every episode, because I don't want to get burned on the ceiling, but there is a lot that's mostly filler.
Oh, wow.
There are plenty of episodes where they're like, oh, this is an important episode that happens to have one or two nuggets of bigger plot points in it. There are a good number of those. The thing is, though, they're still entertaining. There are very few bad episodes, and by bad I mean boring. And a lot of those tend to be kind of early on in the first handful of seasons.
Yeah.
Because once they decided to just embrace the goofiness of it, it really just kind of loosened up.
Okay. Yeah, one day I'm going to jump into that. Everyone says it's good.
Yeah, and it's fair. I mean, they're on season 13, so it's understandable. You look at it and you go, man, it's a lot of episodes.
I mean, my ridiculous show right now is Legends of Tomorrow, which you should be watching.
I know. Legends seems to me like the same kind of idea of like, look, we know this is weird, but we're still going to craft a good story around it. Just come along for the ride.
IO9, Gizmodo essentially posted an article today saying a giant evil gorilla tried to kill Obama on Legends of Tomorrow, and that wasn't even the most ridiculous part.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
John Noble, I guess, was in it, and he reprised his role as the same guy from Lord of the Rings with the hair or whatever. See, like, and the episode with George Lucas, like, it's so crazy.
Well, I mean, last season on Supernatural, the devil possessed the president. I mean, they're no strangers to just like, let's aim high. What the hell? And this was before any election results. So it's just like, what can we do that's weird and bizarre, and how can we craft a story around it? And it sounds like a lot of CW shows do that. iZombie's whole premise is like that.
Oh yeah.
iZombie's whole premise is bizarre and weird and just full of ways it can go horrifyingly wrong. Mm-hmm. And they still manage to walk the fine line and find the right balance.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What's his face in that show is hilarious. Raul, I forget his last name.
Yeah.
He plays Robbie in the show. Yeah, he's funny. He's always on the Kind of Funny and stuff like that. He's a big nerd.
Yeah.
He's on Funhouse all the time. Apparently in Legends of Tomorrow, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the ridiculous things from that episode, and apparently they say in it, it's time to make America Grodd again.
Oh man. Just,
That's so stupid. I love that show. That show's so funny. Oh, man. Oh, Grodd is such... It's ridiculous.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing. You look at Grodd just as a concept, and it's a ridiculous idea. Oh, here's a giant gorilla with super gorilla strength that also has mind control powers.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, why not?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Man, that's a good show. I need to catch up on that one.
Yeah, I'm still in season 1. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, they don't season 1, it's like, okay, this is weird. But man, in season 2, they just fully embrace it. You're like, okay, we're in rural Japan now, and let's see what happens. And and then suddenly they're in the West and they're wearing rural Japan clothes, and it's just like, where are we gonna go next? We got to go to Barnum and Bailey and do that. Like, it's so all over the place in the best way. It really truly does remind me of like old Trek episodes.
Nice. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, where they're like, hey, let's just bounce around time periods and be weird. So I don't know. Let's see here. We got some video game. Let's jump into video game news.
Yeah, we've got games for gold and PS Plus games. Way bigger fan of the games for gold this month.
Yeah, The Witness, April 1st through the 30th. If you have not played The Witness yet, shame on you, and go download that immediately.
Yeah.
And see how far you can get, because it will break your brain.
It will. I got it not long after it came out, and I eventually just kind of had to put it down because I was like, I just, it hurt. It actually hurt.
And unfortunately, it's one of those ones you put down you can't really go back to.
Yeah, you kind of have to just stay with it.
Yeah, because it'll teach you so many things, and you're like, okay, well, I remember this from this one and this one from that one, and then once I put it down, you're absolutely right. You go back to it, and you're like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. There are lines here, and that's all I know. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, April 16th through the 15th. Disney's Pixar's Cars 2, April 1st through the 15th for the 360 Xbox One, and Dead Space 2, the 16th through the 30th.
Yeah, I'll pass on Cars 2, but the other three are solid. Syndicate was all right. Syndicate was not tremendously necessary, but if that's an itch that you need scratched, Syndicate isn't too bad. And I like Dead Space 2. I did. I didn't think it was great, but I enjoyed it. It was fun enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I never played it. We got now. You played this one, right, for the PS Plus games, Mad Max?
I love Mad Max. And
I never played it, but I heard it's really good.
It is really good. If you haven't played it, or if you don't have Xbox Game Pass, which Mad Max is on, and I actually just beat it again not that long ago, which is kind of why I'm personally a little bummed for Plus this month. But Mad Max is really good. It's a fun, open world-ish game. And I say that just because the map is not terribly big and it's a little hard to get around for a while. But once you really, because you have to upgrade your car to really make something happen. But once you do that, it takes a little while, but it's not obnoxiously long. And then everything kind of opens up, and then it's way more fun. It's got the Arkham combat system, so that's a plus.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the same. It's WB. I'm pretty sure it was WB. But it's good. If you haven't played it, play it. You're in for a good time.
Yeah, I hear it's good. Well, I mean, it's kind of like last month, the two games that were huge. I already purchased already, but I'm happy that we're getting these big time games.
Yeah.
Mad Max, I hear is great. Trackmania Turbo, PS4. In Space, We Brawl, PS3. Toy Home, PS3. 99 Vitas, PlayStation Vita. And Qbert Rebooted, PS Vita cross-buy with PS3 and 4.
Yeah. So, go download however many of those you have the capability to play. Because they are out now, actually.
Yep. Did you see that they on Shadow of War they removed the microtransactions?
There's a surprise.
Yeah, like 6 months later.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
PUBG added a new map.
Did they?
Yep.
Tell me about it.
I did not play it. It's called Codename Savage. This map is significantly smaller than the other two maps. So it kind of gives it gives it a different feeling. The last map was massive, and this one being smaller is good. So like the first two maps, for example, were an 8x8 grid. This one is 4x4.
Okay.
I haven't played it. It looks like I don't know how to describe it. Like the house, it almost looks tropical in a way, I guess. Like it's on a really smaller island, maybe in the Pacific or something.
Okay.
But that's it. I haven't really played it. I'm gonna jump into it. I just saw that it was dropped today, so sometime tomorrow I'll probably hop in and play a few rounds. I really hope they got the cheating taken care of, because that's the real big bummer about Battlegrounds right now, is the cheating's just kind of out of control.
Yeah.
And Fortnite has its issues too, because I feel like every 4 days I get an alert telling me someone tried to get into my account, so it locked it down for 12 hours, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not playing Fortnite.
Jeez.
Yeah, Fortnite, they really need two-factor authentication, because basically if someone tries to break into your account, it locks it down, so you can't play it.
Well, that sucks.
So it's like, what?
It's just really stupid.
So if you really didn't like someone, you could try to break into their account numerous times, and it would shut it down. Like they really got to rethink that.
Yeesh.
Yeah. We got some No Man's Sky news is coming to Xbox One this summer. The new update to be released in the summer, titled No Man's Sky Next, but there's no details provided.
Yeah, it's it's available. It'll be a free update. And I think it's going to drop the same time as the Xbox One version.
Yeah.
So there's, if you got burned on No Man's Sky, or you waited on it and you were kind of smugly glad you did because you watched what happened with everybody else, I think this is going to be the jumping in point. I think this may be the Taken King for No Man's Sky. I think that's probably at least what they're shooting for, if nothing else.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I may try it again somewhere down the road, because I started up day one and I was like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. And
it's a lot better now.
Yeah, I'm glad, and that's what I've heard, and I'm glad. I'm very glad.
It's much better now. Yeah, if they would have released it at this state, it would be a game.
Yeah.
And I don't think that many people would be complaining about it, especially because you can run into other people and stuff like that, and map out and stuff, and it has things to do, it has missions, and it has a path for you to take to get you going. I think if they would have done it now, it would have been just much different. So, but hey, the Xbox desperately needs some games, so this should help out. I saw that Sea of Thieves was the fastest selling first-party game this generation.
Yeah, not surprised. It had all kinds of hype, all kinds of buzz. It had good feedback from the beta and the alpha before that, and then everybody bought it, everybody played it, and realized there was nothing to do.
Yep, yeah, the servers are now pretty much empty from what I was reading.
It's No Man's Sky all over again, man. It really is. Like, it's nothing but the same fetch quests. It's 3 different types of fetch quests that you do 12,000 times, and then you wind up being somebody on Twitch who has to defend your actions. Like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's a fun concept. It's the same thing. It's a great concept, but there's not enough meat to it. So, in a year's time, Sea of Thieves, the next wave, or whatever goofy thing they're going to call it, is going to come out. It's going to be better. But, man, Rare has forgotten how to make video games. Like, they remember half of it, and then they forgot the other half. And I am hoping for a Rare renaissance, and I blame Microsoft, because they bought them, and that was when everything started to go downhill. It may not be fair, and it may not be right, and it may be so far wrong as to be almost offensive, but I don't care. I blame them anyway. No,
I agree.
I look for them to turn around eventually. I look for Rare to. I look for, if Microsoft lets them, for Rare to turn around and say, we made some of the baddest ass games a couple of generations ago. We need to get back to that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think they will. They had a little spark with Killer Instinct, but then it just kind of evaporated.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, was it Killer Instinct that even did it? Wasn't it what's it face studios that did that game? Iron Galaxy.
Oh, I thought Rare did Killer Instinct because it was their property.
Killer Instinct. No, it was Iron Galaxy.
Wow. So then, what the hell has Rare even done lately besides like Ratchet and Clank Nuts and Bolts? Or Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let me have a look here. Games. Oh hell, I can't do this. Because I mean, because they did like their N64. Like they were one of the companies for the N64.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was crazy. But where's been? Oh, and are these alphabetical or are these? No, thank God they're by year. Okay, bottom of the list is of course going to be Sea of Thieves. Before that was Connect Sports. No, they worked on Killer Instinct.
Then why am I seeing that Iron Galaxy did it?
Developed by Double Helix Games, Iron Galaxy Studios, Rare, and Microsoft Studios.
Oh, guys, so it was a combination of all of them.
Yeah, so it was basically just like everybody worked on this.
Yeah.
Okay. And I swear to God, before they did Killer Instinct, they worked on Connect Sports, and before Connect Sports was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Oh, wow.
Not even joking. It's just
the reason why I guess I'm giving the Iron Galaxy credit because those are a lot of ex-Mortal Kombat people, a lot of ex-Midway people. So that's why I think they kind of helped out with it to be like, okay, well, let's make this a good fighting game.
Yeah. I mean, God, it's been so long since Rare has done like what was the last actual thing that they did that you could look at and say, oh, that was a solid game. I guess Conker's Bad Fur Day. Because like
boy,
everything after that was kind of a port, and I mean that was 2001.
Right.
I mean, Star Fox Adventures was divisive at best. And like everything else was a Game Boy Advance port.
Viva Pinata was probably the last one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Well, no, Banjo-Kazooie was a game. Nuts and Bolts was a game. Viva Pinata was one. It was kind of popular, wasn't it?
Viva Pinata had some buzz. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine. It's been 2006 since the last time they did a solid game.
Right, and that was right after Perfect Dark Zero. That was the last one.
Which was not great. Sorry, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the problem. They've been the Connect Sports company. Like, that's what they got turned into. And it just...
And they had some bangers, man. Donkey Kong Country is still one of my favorite games of all time.
Like, dude, everything they did with Nintendo, man, Donkey Kong Country, they did... I mean, hell, they did Battletoads. They were the Battletoads Double Dragon guys. The old Killer Instinct, all the Donkey Kong Country stuff, Donkey Kong Land, Blast Corps, GoldenEye, I mean, these were, and Jet Force Gemini is an overlooked game that I thoroughly enjoyed Jet Force Gemini, and I think it gets overlooked, And then Perfect Dark, and I mean, it's been too long, and I think it's because they've been stuck being the Connect Sports company. I believe that, wrong or whatever, even though it's probably very horrifyingly wrong. I stand by that assumption. I blame Microsoft.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Microsoft has really botched a lot of their stuff. Yeah. I saw that Jeff Kaplan of Blizzard was talking about, I guess he was doing an interview, and Blizzard is probably my favorite studio. Everything they put out to me is just so good. Even if it's a genre I don't like, I'll still check it out. Like they did that MOBA, which is Heroes of the Storm, and it was fun. Me and my buddy played it. It wasn't my kind of thing, but I guess he was, the elephant in the room for them is like PUBG, Fortnite. These big games are coming out. What are you guys, doing about it? And they were like, well, I'd lie to you if we already have not had a million talks about putting a mode in Overwatch that did sort of the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah, where you and their idea was that the idea would be that you go to one of the arcade machines in Overwatch, in the game, and someone in that universe made a game with these heroes, and that's how they would.
That's clever. I like that idea.
Yeah, and he's like, we've thought about that. It would be a lot of work, but essentially just came out to, yeah, we're fully aware of what those kind of games are, and I'd be shocked if in the next 2 years we don't hear Blizzard trying to jump on that bandwagon somehow.
Man, I think 2 years is a long time.
You're right. Maybe this year, maybe BlizzCon, whatever they do BlizzCon next. I imagine, the thing is Blizzard doesn't usually put out new properties a lot, so it's probably going to be an Overwatch. Like, here's a new mode in Overwatch, or I guess it would be a new game that has. Like kind of how they did Heroes of the Storm, where you have all the different heroes of Blizzard properties. Because that would be kind of cool to jump, and it would be random. Like, that would be, I don't know how you would do that. I don't know how you do that with different heroes.
Yeah.
They'd all have to have the same skill sets and stuff. So I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could make a Warcraft one, and just everyone is an orc or a human, and you all have your rifle or sword or whatever. So I don't know. You could go places with that. I just thought that was a little bit interesting, because I'm waiting for one of these big studios to jump on it.
Yeah, and it's just gonna feel like a cash in though, and
well,
it's not gonna draw anybody away, and
I don't know. I mean, Fortnite, that's what everyone said about Fortnite, and it did. It saw an opportunity, and it jumped on it. And, who was talking about Fortnite before Battlegrounds came out?
True. Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So, if you had a studio with a property that is beloved by millions, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for, EA's never going to do that with Star Wars. Imagine that.
God, there's your money right there.
Yes. Imagine if Warner Brothers did that with the Lord of the Rings property. It would. And you pick it, you name it. I'm waiting for a big studio with a big property to kind of put their hat in. But you're probably right. It would absolutely feel like a cash in. So who knows? I just found it interesting that obviously they can't be blind to that and how much money those studios are making because of it. It would almost be to the shareholders a disservice if they don't at least attempt it.
Yeah.
Because it makes stupid amount of money, and that's what they did. Look at what Blizzard, what they did with Hearthstone, what they've done with Heroes of the Storm, what they've done with Overwatch. These are all results of how of what other games did. Overwatch is a hero shooter. They're definitely not the first people to do that.
True.
Heroes of the Storm is a MOBA. They're definitely not the only people who do that. So it's only natural if I think they jumped on that next. I personally would love a new StarCraft game.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing one of the Wings of Liberty or whatever in Ready Player One.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. That was neat. But I don't know. I don't think there's that much video game news left. I did see if you go to Amazon, they have a huge sale right now on 300 Marvel and Star Wars graphic novels, and they're all $1 each.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can have the entire Vision, the run of the Vision, for $1.
Whew.
Yeah. And so that it's awesome. And if you use that off Amazon, you can read the graphic novels on the Kindle app on your phone, or if you obviously have a Kindle, then it just pulls right up on your Kindle stuff. But yeah, I thought that was cool. So you can't beat that, man. And that's the crazy thing about this. And it's a reaction to Comixology. Comixology about 3 weeks ago, they had the same exact sale. So this was, you can get Volume 1 of Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, the one that came out in November, for $1, the entire volume. You can get the Vision, you can get Spider-Man 2, New Avengers, and you could go back. There's all these different kind of it's X-Men Blue Volume 1, all that kind of stuff. Dr. Alpha, like just I don't know. Go look if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know how long the sale's gonna last, so if you're listening, go look now. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Oh yeah. I know we were talking about VR the other day, and I saw that the Vive. Oh, did you know that what was the Microsoft thing that they were going to come? The HoloLens.
Yeah.
Did you know that it came out?
Really?
Yeah, it's $5,000.
I was going to say that's probably why nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a tool. It's not a home use thing. This is an I don't know. It's almost like just a proof of concept thing.
Yeah.
Like, we made this because we could. Okay, that's great. Who is it for? We don't have any idea whatsoever.
Right. Oh yeah. And we were also talking about, and this was in the spoiler cast, about the VR headset. The Vive one right now, with the entire kit with everything, is $500. The Pro is $800. And the Pro is the one that we were talking about, and it actually just came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if the Pro comes with the wireless adapter or not. I'm not sure. So not exactly sure. But $800. I mean, if you already have a PC that you're spending thousands on, that might not be that big of a deal. But that's a big chunk of change.
That's the catch with most VR is you have to have a banging PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is not for an off the shelf model.
Right. Well,
unless it's off of an intense shelf. I will say this. I doubt that the average PC owner would have a good time with VR.
That's true. The thing is, when the Vive originally came out in the HTC, or the Oculus, it was 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Nah, longer than that, isn't it?
When did the Vive come out?
I don't know. God, has it only been just a couple of years?
I know that they had you can get it beforehand, and so a bunch of streamers got it.
Yeah, but no, I mean for an actual release.
2 years. So April 2016 was the release date.
Damn.
So in the world of computing,
that's a long time.
That's a long time. So to get a computer that can have that, it's nowhere near as expensive as it would be to back then as today to get a parts. The only problem is, the only caveat, and it's the big caveat that is the big problem, is the graphics cards right now. Oh. Because of the people mining. The 1080, for example, to get a 1080 Ti, GeForce whatever, when that Vive was out, $500 maybe. Now it's $1,200 just for the card. The prices went up on them because of the demand, because everybody was buying graphics cards to mine Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So basically right now is not the the ideal time to invest in PC gaming. Because of that, unless you buy a built-in model. From what I understand, if you buy and the thing is, I got a PC right before this thing took off, right before Bitcoin and everything really went crazy, and the prices of the graphics cards skyrocketed. But if you get a all built-in one, like if you go to ibuypower.com, for example, and you buy a PC, the price of the card in the PC it's not adjusted to if you were to buy it separately.
Huh, interesting.
Does that make... Yeah, so it actually makes it cheaper to buy all built-in one than to piecemeal it yourself like you would. And normally that would be much cheaper. You would save hundreds of dollars. But they're saying now it's actually cheaper to do it the other way because it's already all built in, and the prices, the manufacturers get the correct price for it, where if you buy the price just strictly by itself, they're already jacked up. So
yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I'm not getting that anytime soon, but man, I was listening to some of the reviews and stuff like that, and they were just saying that the new Pro is, especially with the wireless adapter to be able to just put it on and press go and not have to deal with wires and cords or anything. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll bet that's something.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for games and stuff. Let's see here. We got some Fantastic Four news. Dan Slott and Sarah. How do you pronounce the last name?
Pichelli, I would think.
Pichelli, yeah. Is going to be doing Fantastic Four, #1, and it comes out in August.
Yeah. So the first family is back. We knew this was coming eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, this has kind of been in the making since their beef with Fox, and once they acquired them and just bought the company, we talked about this. This was going to be the first thing we see. We'll see them in the comic universe first, and then they'll probably slowly be teased in the movie universe until everything's final.
Yeah.
Man, I hope at the end of Avengers 4, or maybe even this one, probably not this one, definitely not this one, but the end of Avengers 4, they show the wreckage of a ship that was out in outer space, and because of Thanos coming and bringing all of his stuff, it destroys it with his cosmic ray or whatever he does with reality with his gauntlet. Sends ripples through the universe and just destroys a spaceship, and all we see is on the wreckage and #4 on it.
Yeah.
And that's all we would need. We would just need a tease, no characters, no actors, just a tease of, because then you can set up the whole. We've talked about this before. How Tony Stark was selling the building. It could be revealed he was selling it to the Baxter Building, and that the Fantastic Four were actually in space during all of the Avengers nonsense that's happening the next few years.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not entirely far-fetched either.
And that's how you have them not in any of these movies.
Yeah. They
were in space. And then all hell broke loose, and a cosmic ray hit their ship, and then we get them in, 4 or 5 years from now, or whenever their movies will be made.
Yeah. Did you see John Krasinski wants to be Mr. Fantastic?
I'm all for it.
Him and Emily Blunt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that would
he directed, wrote, and starred in this new movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he's directed a few things.
Man, I'd like to see him direct Fantastic Four movie then.
Yeah, there was what was the other thing that he directed that I couldn't remember?
Oh wait, so he wants his wife to be in it too?
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, he directed. If you give me a second, because he directed and co-wrote A Quiet Place. He directed The Hollers, which I did not see. I really thought there was something else. Brief Interview with Hideous Men was the other thing. That's not what I remember. But
I could totally see them as Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Or maybe we had Jenna Fisher in there. I'm just kidding.
Don't start.
That was an
with
office
me.
joke.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. They'll be tied in soon, so it'll be cool to see them come back in the comic and to pick that up.
Yeah.
We got some crazy CBS news. CBS is formally submitting a bid to take over Viacom.
Yeah, basically. That's basically the short of it. It's an all-stock deal, and the way that the ratio of it works out, it values Viacom at $12.5 billion. And there's this, and this is just the opening. This is hey, here's our first bid. This is going to be an ongoing story for a while, because we're going to have to go through negotiations, and then God only knows what else. And this is just, I don't even want to get into all the madness this is going to unleash. But I mean, between that and Fox potentially having to sell Sky over in the UK. Because that could potentially be an issue. There's some UK regulations issue that they may have to sell that off they may have to include that in the Disney deal in order for it to be resolved. And it's this is gonna get nuts. This is gonna get nuts.
What all does Viacom own?
Man, I knew you were gonna ask me that, and I was reaching for my phone to look it up. But because I will say I don't
Paramount,
know.
Right?
Do they own Paramount, or are they? They do own Paramount.
Here's their assets on Wikipedia.
Okay.
It says film and production and distribution. Paramount Animation Pictures, Viacom International, Viacom Media Networks, which is Comedy Central Films, MTV Films, Nickelodeon Films. Television production is Paramount Television, Viacom, Nickelodeon Animation Studio, Rainbow SRL, and Barreled Entertainment. Television networks, BET. Oh man, there's like 4 BET channels. I didn't know that. Channel 5, CMT, CMT Music, Comedy Central, Logo TV, MTV, all of the MTVs. Nick at Night, Nick Jr., Nickelodeon, Nick Music. There's Nick Music channel?
I didn't know there was a Nick Music channel. I have to look into it.
Say what? Let's go put that on.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Nicktoons, Paramount Network, Teen Nick, Telef, more of the MTVs, VH1, 5 Star, 5 USA, and then some other stuff like record companies and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's pretty big. That's huge.
I didn't know that they owned RateMyProfessors.com.
RateMyProfessors.com.
they
that's
actually
crazy.
do. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I forgot. Like Viacom is Nickelodeon and MTV and all of that stuff. They basically own the music video networks pretty much.
Right.
But yeah, God, that's right. They do own Paramount. Jesus, could you imagine if CBS owned Paramount? I don't want that. Because CBS Films, correct me if I'm wrong, does not have a tremendously stellar track record.
I don't know. I know they own Giant Bomb, but I don't know what films they own.
That's true.
Let's see here.
Let's see. What have they actually released? Winchester, American Assassin, Patriots Day, and then Love the Coopers was theirs.
Not good at all.
Yeah, Inside Llewyn Davis was theirs. Okay, there's one. 7 Psychopaths. Okay, that's 2.
But to be fair, if they acquire them, then they'll acquire the studio. So
yeah,
maybe that's the idea. Is like, hey, our films kind of suck right now. If we get these people,
get Paramount and everything that comes with it, and that's a lot that comes with Paramount. That is a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Did you see who's been making the news for being a creep?
Oh, who do we have now?
The creator of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not, given the bent of Ren and Stimpy, I'm unfortunately not surprised.
Yeah. I guess 2 women come forward with sexual misconduct allegations against him, and apparently they were teenagers at the time. They were 13 years old.
Yeah, what's the guy's name?
I'm gonna butcher it, but John.
I'm just gonna go with Crickfalusi.
It looks like someone put letters on a refrigerator and then just mixed them all up.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually I'm a little bit more respectful to people, but I don't give a shit about this guy.
No, not in this case. No, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Man, God. Yeah, terrible. Apparently he only did like 9 episodes and then he was fired off of his own show, but that sucks. That makes you, when you get the pop figures and stuff like that, it makes you like think differently of it.
Well, and here's, like, it's weird with something like this because it's, he created these things that went on to be, cult classic kind of pop culture phenomena. And
right.
You're like, does that, it's weird because does that taint it? And that's, that's a personal decision. It's not, it's different because he was only a part, like he created it and then, they threw him off of it. It would be different, like, if this was Tom Kenny and, like, that ruined SpongeBob forever.
That
kind of thing.
Tim someone, I hope Bruce Timm keeps his hands to himself.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And because I swear to God,
if they ruin Batman the Animated Series for me, I will personally go kick their ass.
right. Hopefully Chuck Jones was an okay person.
Hollywood in that era.
Yeah.
That's a tough call.
Yeah. And see, that's the crazy thing about this dude. You know, there was no era for this guy. Like, this was 90s. This is recent. Well, as recent can get, I guess.
I mean, no excuse for it in any period, but it wasn't,
That's true. True.
It wasn't back when it was part of the stereotype.
Right.
I mean...
and what makes this so worse is it's a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah. Where it's like, now you're just...
That's another level of
this.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah. So
hopefully it doesn't ruin Ren and Stimpy, and you can separate it for what it's worth. But man, it's terrible. So tell me about Statesville Comic-Con.
Yeah, they announced earlier today the next one is going to be on Saturday, July 14th.
Sweet.
It's going to run 10 to 5. It's going to be in the Civic Center again. I want to try to get us on the marketing material if I can.
That'd be awesome.
As soon as they start, because it's only like $50.
There you go.
So like as soon as they start opening up, like, oh, and we're taking applications for whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I see. I think MegaCon. I saw. Of all people today, Chris Jericho retweeted MegaCon.
Is he
May 24th through 27th, and it was like, just when you think we didn't have enough people, we added Chris Jericho, and he's like, I don't know anything about this. So I guess, yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. So I thought that sucked.
Well, MegaCon, you just made the list.
Right, exactly. You know what's crazy though? I am going to see him this year.
Really?
Yes. My buddy got tickets to a thing called Earth Day Birthday in
Orlando.
I haven't been since like 2008 because I don't really listen to rock music at all. Like never.
Yeah.
And it was 2006 or 2008. I think it was like Buck Cherry or somebody that was there, and someone got me tickets as well. But yeah, apparently he is in the lineup for this show. Do you listen to rock at all?
No.
Okay. Because if I said some of these names, I don't know if you would know them. Shinedown.
I know Shinedown.
Now Bush, I know Bush.
Bush, I know.
3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
Seether.
Yeah, Jesus, was this like 2000s acts? Good God.
That's what makes it kind of exciting.
Yeah, like this was, like high school music.
Yeah. All That Remains. Yes. Non-Point. Starset. 10 Years. Fozzy is Chris Jericho. Power Man 5000.
Good God, really?
Red. Dead Girls Academy. And the last one I thought was a joke. It just says Nirvana and it has these 3 guys who look like they're Nirvana. Apparently they are a what do you call it? Where they like sing the music.
A tribute band.
Apparently they're a really popular tribute band called Nirvana that sing Nirvana. So that would be cool.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how long I'll be at this thing. I don't know how, maybe an hour or 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cool to see Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Be up on stage. I don't know. I just thought that was cool because I don't know if I was going to go. I was like, I'll let you know. And then when you told me people, and I was like, you got me. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really listen to rock music at all. But, yeah, it's a bunch of high school bands. So I was like, well, I'll at least recognize some of the music.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All it's missing is, like, I don't know, Smashing Pumpkins or something. But, all right, let's move forward here. So, did you see Krypton? I only saw the first episode.
I did. I saw the first one. I saw the second one. My first thought in the first one, until they explained it, was like, oh, we're on an alien planet thousands of years ago, and the chosen disguise is still a hoodie and a baseball cap? Really?
Right.
But thankfully, like, there is an explanation. I was like, okay, fine, I get it. But God, that threw me. It took me out of it right off at the top, and I was like, oh my God, you've got to be with a Detroit Tigers logo. You're kidding me, right?
Right.
But it does get explained. So there was that, which was nice. I will say this: it starts off well. we'll see.
I liked it.
We'll see how well that continues.
Yeah.
Because anything can have a strong start, but by like episode 8 or 9, then that's when the rubber really hits the road.
Yeah, I thought just such a cool premise that, we're getting the bottled city, and we're seeing all these different families, and I don't know, I just thought this could be their chance to do something really cool.
Yeah.
I love the hooks that kind of brings it to the bigger DC universe with Adam Strange being there. And what's his face? The big bad guy thing. Well, God, why am my mind going blank? The guy who bottles
Brainiac, right? I was like, is that who you're looking for, Brainiac?
Yeah, Brainiac coming from the future to bottle the city of Kandor and to kill Superman's grandfather. Like, that's such a that's such a comic book thing to see on TV.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm excited to see what other kind of time travelers could pop in and mix things up with them. And if not, I hope that there's enough to carry these characters.
Yeah, I worry about what happens, because obviously by the end of the first season they're going to have dealt with Brainiac, and then it's going to be we're moving on to whatever's next, and I don't know if the actual Krypton drama is going to be engaging enough. It's watching the first two was interesting back to back because it does kind of play like the premiere for the Galactica reboot back in the day of like, oh, it needed, this was a good start and it had the drama and it was kind of contained and everything, but where do we go from here? Right.
Well, once you introduce the idea of time travel, I mean, they could jump forward and it could be the Legion of Superheroes with Superman's grandfather.
I don't want that. I'm so sick of time travel.
Could do well. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what hooked me.
As a plot device, like for one character, I really do just want him to be the only one who time travels. Unless,
well, no, I meant like if you said they deal with Brainiac. Well, Brainiac bottles their city.
Yeah, eventually. Like, I wonder if this is... Because what I think they're going to have is, like, they deal with Brainiac, but, like, nobody believes them. So he becomes kind of like this little myth, like this boogeyman. But, the House of L is the one telling it. And, this is currently the disgraced House of L. So nobody believes them, nobody understands them. But it's this legend passed down through the generations. And then Brainiac comes back at the time he's supposed to bottle the city and bottles the city and everybody freaks out and all that jazz. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, this is only going to cover a handful of years because shows like this don't cover grand stretches of time.
Right.
So
right.
But, I mean, we know how the story ends. The planet explodes and everybody dies. But, the in-between could be interesting. I had zero expectations going to it. Actually, I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible. Oh, I thought it was going to be garbage. I really did. Like, as soon as I saw, from David S. Goyer, I went, no. No more Goyer DC. No. But this, I don't know. I will say it's better than I was expecting, but again, you would have had to dig up my expectations, really.
Yeah, I love that they showed the Fortress of Solitude and all this stuff, and I thought it was fascinating. I just thought it was really cool. The Black Zero stuff, there was so many things that I was like, oh, I recognize that. It really caught me off guard because I was expecting to not know anything.
Yeah.
Or not recognize anything or anyone's name or whatever, and I don't know. But we'll see. I need to watch episode 2. I have it up to record, but I don't know. I saw the first episode on USA. And I was an idiot. I set it to record that for the show. Obviously, it's a sci-fi show, so it didn't know what to do. And that was the only one it recorded. But yeah. So I don't blame you if you drop off. But man, I'm gonna see what happens with it.
I am willing to give it a shot because it was at the very least mildly interesting. And
was the second episode any better?
The second episode was good.
Okay.
It does carry on a lot of the same. Like it pushes. There is a really. I will tell you what I do find interesting. Is the voice of Rao.
Hmm.
I like
Okay.
that idea. I like that this is where like it's set up almost as a
Yes.
theocracy in a way.
Right.
I like that idea, and I gotta tell you, man, that mask is killer. That is
Oh
a
yeah.
badass design, no question. Um, but it goes in a weird direction in the second episode.
Oh, it does.
It's interesting, and that's why I'm like, okay, this show is not afraid.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, all right, that was curious. Now now I'm like, I'll give it a shot because this,
Hmm.
it's weird. It shows that this is not just like I am the evil theocrat and you will all do as I say or die.
Right.
It adds an interesting element to it, and I liked it.
Hmm.
But
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
yeah,
Watch more of it. But I think that's it for Krypton. Let's jump into Mania.
yeah. It's I don't know. It's gonna be a weekend. Hall of Fame on Friday. I don't think there's like any. Thursday is kind of a breather. I mean,
Hmm.
we had Raw Monday, SmackDown Tuesday, NXT Wednesday. Kind of nothing really on Thursday.
Hmm.
And then the Hall of Fame Friday, Takeover Saturday, Mania Sunday, and then Raw and
Hmm.
SmackDown the 2 days after. Like it's all systems go once we hit Saturday. It
Oh
really is.
yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Takeover. Um, I mean, just to look at the card, it's a full card for
Hmm.
Takeover. 2 hour show, which they're probably gonna push a little. But man, not a bad match on this card at all.
Oh yeah.
And I think it helps that everything's kind of condensed and that they did kind of throw everybody into the ladder match, but
Hmm.
it's man, you got to watch because that may be match of the night.
Yeah.
Gargano and Ciampa will be just a brawl. It's just
Hmm.
gonna be vicious and it's gonna be ruthless and it's gonna be it's gonna be a sight. But my eyes are on that ladder match and I think it's
Yeah.
really gonna be something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. NXT for the most part are usually better than the main shows, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but Gargano, like I said, Gargano and Ciampa.
Do you think they're both called up?
I don't know if Ciampa is, just because he
Okay.
doesn't have the character on his own yet, like Gargano has. I
Gotcha.
think Ciampa hangs around a bit yet. I definitely think Gargano gets called up, no question.
Yeah.
Um, the bizarre. Now I don't know what the hell's going on with the tag team tournament.
Okay.
Because I haven't really been following it, and apparently this week something weird happened or happens or whatever. I don't know.
Mm.
Um, but it's weird that Adam Cole is going to be in two matches for championships, which he's taking Bobby Fish's place in the Undisputed Era because Fish, I think it was his knee that he blew out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he got injured a little while back, but they just like TV just now caught up to it. But he in that ladder match, man, that ladder match card is ridiculous. Adam Cole, EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and Velveteen Dream. I mean, look, that's a main event roster unto itself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, EC3 carried Impact for the last handful of years by
Hmm.
himself, practically.
Yeah.
He was a breakout star in Impact a handful of years ago, and then he carried that thing on his shoulders. Um,
Yeah.
Killian Dane has just gotten better and better with time. Lars Sullivan is a freak, and he's just he's you. I'll tell you what. If he winds up being Braun's partner, I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh really?
You might watch a swerve like that. You may see something like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
That'd be cool.
That would be something that I don't think a lot of people would see coming. Um,
Mm-mm.
Velveteen Dream has been beyond impressive. When he debuted, my first thought was, "Oh my God, what are they gonna do with this?"
Right.
Because I was having Attitude Era flashbacks, and I was like, "This
Hmm.
is not gonna end well." And it's been completely the opposite. Like he
Yeah.
has owned that gimmick and just run with it, and good for him. He's and puts on a hell of a match. And then Ricochet. Man, King Ricochet in a ladder match for NXT. Man, buckle your seatbelts, strap your helmet on. You're in for a ride.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
It's gonna.
He was probably the most well-known indie person to be called up right now, correct?
But yeah, he and EC3, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you're right, EC3.
Well, I consider Impact indie, That's just me. But if you're gonna talk like indie without any of the big names, Ricochet, right. Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, he's been tearing it up. That's a match could go either way.
Yeah, Dan Reichard from Giant Bomb. Man, oh yeah, go follow him on Twitter. I think he ran into the Big Show today. He's been talking about being in New Orleans for a whole week, and he really talked him up. There's Giant Bomb does a wrestling podcast every week now. Him and Alex, they sit down and they play old wrestling games. They're in the middle of something, The Reckoning.
Oh, are they playing Day of Reckoning? Oh god.
Day of Reckoning. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's awful.
And they chose SmackDown side, so like it's the Undertaker and his new ministry, which consists of like nobodies.
Yeah.
But they just play the game and they talk with Abby Russell and whoever is there. They're not into wrestling, the other two people, so they'll like real fast if I can, but they'll talk about they're so excited for everything to come up. They'll talk about everything now, everything in the past. The girl on the show, Abby Russell, she's not into wrestling, but she's totally like, okay, tell me about it. She's interested anytime something comes up or whatever. To play a prank on her when she went out of the room, Dan was like, hey, let's completely make something up about how they had a dog battle royale. And it was screwed up because whoever, someone body slammed the wrong thing, whatever. So when she came back into the room, they were talking about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah. They had this whole thing in WrestleMania, because like her face was confused, and they're like, yeah, they had this whole thing at WrestleMania. Beethoven was in it. He was the celebrity dog, and and she totally bought it because that's how ridiculous sometimes wrestling is.
Dude, they had a kennel in a cell match back in the Attitude Era.
Yes, and then he went and told her about that.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, there was two dogs that just peed on each other the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nightmare. Oh, it's an absolute disaster. Like, I mean, because you're right. It just gets ridiculous. It's just insane. It's just nuts.
Yeah. And it's sad. You giggle for a second, but it's sad. But every time, like, they'll mention this match, they'll be like, oh yeah, they both killed themselves. Wrestling's pretty dark. Like, because all these wrestlers are either dead, or something happened to them, or they killed themselves, or they killed somebody else, or it's so dark, some of the lives of these wrestlers towards the end. So like they'll mention this ridiculous thing and you're laughing and whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, well, because someone will ask what happened to them, and they'll be like, well, he shot himself, and he's it's like, oh god, that's right, wrestling is dark.
Yeah.
Wrestling can take a dark path, but anyway, their podcast is really fun to listen to. It's interesting to see them playing those old video games and talk about it. And I don't know, he talked up New Orleans all week. He was just like that. I guess he went there. He went there to see Daniel Bryan the last time, and now he's going back there with his now wife. Who's really into wrestling with him, and so it's like their anniversary and everything else together. So
nice, very cool.
Yeah, so he's excited to go there and watch Daniel Bryan again with her and everything. So I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
It's gonna be a good weekend, and it really is. Yeah. What else was in NXT? The tag team, like I said, I don't know what's going on with the tag team championships. This may be spoilery. Because I don't know what happens with the end of the Dusty Classic, but so jump ahead a couple minutes if you want. But at TakeOver, they're booking the Undisputed Era versus the Authors of Pain versus the team of Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne, which is a bizarre team. It's one of those like, hey, we were rivals, and so now we're a team. But Strong got to pick his partner. Like he was like, I'm gonna go find somebody who I can team with. and grabbed Pete Dunne, who's the UK champion, and and they put on a hell of a match. Just from what I've seen, I'm like, okay, this could work.
Oh yeah.
I Authors of Pain get called up, so they're not winning this match. It's their time. They're gonna go to Raw and shake the tag division up.
They'll probably get it from Braun and Alexa Bliss.
I'm
kidding, but that's probably what will happen. They'll probably get it from Braun.
Maybe, I don't know. Or hell, they may get called up during Mania. I don't know. But
that's true.
I don't see how. But no,
yeah, the whole tag team thing is just out of whack right now.
AOP will be a shot in the arm for the Raw division.
For sure, absolutely.
But then we've got the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon. Look for if Baszler wins, look for Moon to get called up, I think. Where do
you think she goes? Do you think she goes Raw, SmackDown?
I don't know. Because there's also talk of a superstar shakeup.
I think for sure. The way they're talking about if Brock loses, he will never be on Raw again.
Yeah, bye. See you later. Don't. No, yeah. I think he just doesn't show up at all anymore. Like I'm tired of Brock. I'm just done with him. I don't care.
Oh, I am too. But you think you don't? Well, he can't go to UFC.
Who knows? Man,
he has like a year's suspension he still has to serve.
Which can be appealed, and God only knows what else. Like those.
That's true, I guess.
All that kind of stuff is just a mess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But if Baszler picks up the title, I would look for Moon to be called up. And maybe not. Maybe they both hang around down there. But if I will almost guarantee you whoever loses the NXT Championship match gets called up, and I'm betting, and I'm gonna go a little counter here. I think it's gonna be Aleister Black. I think almost retains and Black gets called up.
Yeah, I think so too. He's been ready for a while now.
Yeah, I think he's one of the few that doesn't need a run with the title. I think he's ready. I don't know where they put him. He could go either way. I would kind of love to see him on Raw just to have a program with Samoa Joe. I think because I think those two would just beat the holy hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But either wherever he winds up going. But I think Black loses and gets called up. If Almas loses, I still say he gets called up. Just because there is look at the North American Championship match. All that talent could be main event talent immediately.
Yeah.
So there's no shortage of anybody to take their place if they get called up.
I agree.
So Saturday night's gonna be a good night. Sunday is kind of easier to predict, I think.
Yeah, that's a problem with it. I think it's a great card.
It's a fantastic card, but you can look at it and just know, the only ones that I think are wild cards mainly are the Battle Royals, which is kind of sad.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. I hope Matt wins the Battle Royal for the what the hell does he call him? For Humongous Wonder number 8.
Right.
Good for Matt. I love Matt. Matt's Woken gimmick is just fantastic, and I'm glad, that Vince was so surprised. Apparently, according to people, that he was so surprised that Ultimate Deletion was as popular as it was, and he had the same kind of like, oh, this worked, huh? Okay then, sort of reaction that I think means we're gonna open this up a little more. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea who's gonna win the women's battle royal. I have no idea at all. I don't know. I want it to be somebody like Becky. It'll probably be Sasha.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to Sasha and Bailey.
Maybe.
It's the way the story's kind of going.
They're definitely gonna have their moment in that match, no question. I don't know, but yeah, that one could go anywhere.
It's a shame they don't have their own match. They just didn't book it properly.
No, they should have. They should have. If they'd had another solid month of build up, we could have had Sasha and Bailey.
Oh yeah. Maybe we'll get that next year. This will be like the building year for that.
I'd be all right with that because that's
maybe they break away from it a little bit, but then it gets really heated at the end.
Yeah.
Towards Mania. Yeah.
It's because that's a rivalry. That carried two marquee events. That carried TakeOver Brooklyn and then the NXT special right after it. They were in an Iron Man match. They were in the first ever women's Iron Man match.
Right.
And both of their matches just tore the house apart. So there's. It's a rivalry there that's ripe for building.
I think those two could main event Mania easily.
Done right, yeah.
I think done right they could.
Done right and given enough time and a decent build. And
I wouldn't expect anytime soon. Maybe later in their career, but I could totally see. A few years of them building that kind of story.
I think a good like 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
Then it's a story that sells itself. That you don't even have to really work at it. But that's way long term. That's looking way down the line. But
but I think that'd be cool. That would be that would be a moment in WWE history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Women closing out the main event for Mania.
Yeah.
Needs to happen. But and if anyone could do it, I think those two definitely could.
Yeah, no doubt. We've got the Cruiserweight title. This is a case of I don't really care who wins it. I like Cedric. Cedric's a Charlotte boy, and I kind of have to pull for him a little bit there, but I really like Mustafa Ali.
Yeah,
I really dig him. So
I like both, but I am going for Cedric though.
Yeah, I'll take Ali. Like I like him. I loved, Cedric had the performance in the Cruiserweight Classic,
That's what made me a real big fan of his ever since. I'm like, okay, that guy is awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I mean of just like whoever wins, I'm down for. Like I'm either way with this, but I just. As much as I love Cedric, I've really gotten to be a fan of Mustafa, just because he's had more personality. I think,
right?
He's developed a little more, especially in his promos, than Cedric has, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you've seen it more than I have because I haven't seen that many 205 Lives, but yeah.
And 205 Live's good. 205 Live is really good. When I was there before Survivor Series. And, like half the arena emptied out before they started 205 Live. They had and I can't tell you who was in it because I don't remember, but they had a tornado tag match, and it was awesome. And that's the thing, like 205 Live is good wrestling. It's really good. It's not the cruiserweight segments that they did on Raw never did them justice at all.
No, but who was the guy, the British dude, really pale?
Gallagher. Jack Gallagher.
Is he still in it?
Yeah.
I don't see him anymore.
He's around.
They've taken him off of Raw.
Well, they've taken all the cruiserweights. I haven't seen cruiserweights on Raw in 3 weeks.
Oh, they have. Well, yeah, I guess
they weren't there this week. They were. There was a tag match last week, but that's what they do on Raw. Like they do the a tag or a 6-man tag cruiserweight match.
Right. Okay.
I know they did the. They don't work on Raw. They're just thrown in there to kill time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That should be a good match. And this will all be, I imagine the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and the Cruiserweight title match will both be on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Definitely. The Women's Battle Royal will probably be on the second hour of the pre-show because that's also going to be on USA.
Okay.
It's weird because the pre-show starts at 5 on the network and it runs for 2 hours, but the second hour will also air on USA from 6 to 7. And then WrestleMania starts at 7. So basically from 5 o'clock through probably 11:30, there's your WrestleMania. Like, you're looking at 6.5 hours. It's a long day. Buy some wings, pack a lunch. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be long.
Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna be very long. We've also got Owens and Zayn versus Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. I'm very surprised Shane McMahon is going to be in this match. I really didn't think he was, but he is.
Yeah.
So, you know, good for them. I still think Daniel Bryan's going to do most of the legwork for that team.
Oh yeah.
But it should be interesting. I'm not excited for it, but I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's Daniel Bryan back in the ring. That part I am very excited for.
Yeah.
But the match overall, you know, not tremendously so.
Right.
I think I don't know if Daniel turns or not. I don't know. I doubt it, but
Well, who are the bad guys in this one?
Owens and Zayn, just because they
Are they?
Yeah, because they're jerks and they beat everybody up, and it's kind of old school booking in a way.
They have a valid point.
I know they don't, because they had opportunities before Shane got involved,
screwed.
and then after that, sure, they got screwed, but they kind of brought it on themselves, especially Kevin.
I don't know. Once he pulled Sammy, especially, and once he pulled him away, it was just, to me, that is the most heelish thing you could do.
Yeah, fair enough.
For a GM, I think they booked this all wrong, because are we supposed to be like, is Shane McMahon supposed to be good? No, because of the things he's been doing. Are Sammy and Zayn supposed to be good? No, because of the things they're doing. It's just like, who am I supposed to root for? But you're right, it does lean that Sammy and KO are the bad guys, but it comes off all wrong. It almost comes off like, if it was just tweaked just a tad bit, they could be totally stone cold. You know, Kevin Owens could be.
Yeah.
Because he just keeps getting screwed, but I don't know.
Well, you know, Owens headbutted Vince and then kicked the crap out of Shane, so he kind of started it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's booked a little crooked. And then the other authority-ish tag match from the other side, you know, Angle and Rousey against the Authority. I look for Team Rousey to win this one. It's gonna be interesting to see how she performs. That's gonna be the crux of this match, because we know Stephanie is okay. She hasn't been in the ring in a very long time, but she's kind of like Shane in the sense of they're better than you expect. Stephanie doesn't do a shooting star press like Shane does, but she can, she sells and she works the drama of a match. She's not great, but she's not, awful.
Right.
Of course, we know Triple H and Kurt Angle, so the only wild card here is Rousey, and I'm very curious to see how she does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she'll be okay. She does good spots, but, to hold a match,
it's
a different animal.
Yep, it's a tremendously different animal. And she doesn't have somebody who can carry her. She's not working with somebody like Charlotte, who
I think, if they could throw away that rule of the women and the men interacting, Triple H could totally carry her.
Oh, yeah, and she would be up for it. She would, because she has no problem mixing it up.
And I think they'd be fine, lifting that rule for that match.
Yeah. Nah, it'd be no problem, and she'd have no issue with it. And she
and that'd be a cool moment. Imagine them tagging, and then her tagging Triple H, and then Ronda being like, you know what? Fuck it. Come at me. You know? That would be such a cool moment. Like, right. I'll go after you too.
And because you could legitimately believe that she would just kick his ass.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
You'd buy it. You'd absolutely buy it.
Oh yeah.
I threw Cena and Taker on here because I still believe it's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't care who wins. I just want it to be a good match. I still think it happens. I still think they set it up.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of hoping they were going to do something on SmackDown, but they didn't.
Nah, they're saving it for Kid Rock's gonna play his music, and he's gonna come down with a bike, and
yeah,
it's gonna be a whole big thing, and we get our taker at Mania.
Yeah, and they're gonna they'll keep cutting to wherever Cena is sitting, like third row or something, because I doubt he'll be front row. I'd actually kind of be surprised if he was in the front row somewhere. I think he's gonna be like third row, like towards an aisle or something. Like,
hey man, put him in the stands.
I would think so, except for the fact that I really think that during
security,
because when we see Kid Rock and he does his thing, and then he plays Taker's music and Taker rides his bike down, we're not gonna have time for Cena to come, walking down through the stands, down the stairs, and across the concourse and all that mess.
That's true.
Yeah, but
yeah.
No, I definitely think that we see that. We've got the triple threat for the SmackDown tag titles, the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. This is just going to be a war.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a non-stop, brutal match. This is going to be as close as we get to when we had the Revival and DIY and AOP last year.
And this one's anyone's game.
Yeah, I think the Bludgeon Brothers come out with it.
Yeah,
I do.
But I could totally see the Usos keep it or New Day.
This one genuinely could go either way. It absolutely could.
But I think you're right. I think the right call would be the Bludgeon Brothers, just to give them the cred,
Yeah, it's going to be like what happened with. It's going to be kind of like what happened with that with the other triple threat, but because that one was elimination, this one is not. But I think that's how they're going to build them up. The Bludgeon Brothers are going to withstand a 4-on-2 assault, and eventually they're going to pick up the win. It's going to be very interesting, and 5-on-2 technically, because no DQs in the triple threat. So whoever's outside for the New Day is going to get involved at some point.
Yeah.
But no, I think they pick up the win, and I think that's a good call because they've been built the right way. They've been booked to be unstoppable, and they've really shown it. So that'll be interesting. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Braun, and I'm still going with the team of Braun and these hands. I don't care.
You're probably right.
I think because they're doing the whole he has to have a partner. He absolutely has to have a partner. I think it's gonna be Big Cass.
Yeah.
My money's on Big Cass. And I hope it's not Big Show. That's the one that I'm afraid of. I
like the Big Show.
I like Big Show too, but man, he's done. I love Big Show to death. I really, really, honestly do. But pack it up, man. It's done. It was done a while ago, and he did the job for Braun and helped put him over as the new, as the new big giant monster. And good for him, and I part of me wants Big Show to have one last run. It really does. But he just doesn't. I think it's gonna show too much the idea of seeing Braun do what he can, and seeing Big Show not really be able to do what he used to.
That's true.
It's a bad contrast.
I agree, but it also is pretty predictable. I could totally see them doing that.
Yeah, I could too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Big Cass.
I think Big Cass would definitely be a better choice.
He's my choice for who it's going to be. But I mean, hell, it could be anybody.
Yeah, because Cass needs. Imagine Cass first day back, tag team champions, couldn't do it with Enzo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't, and I think just because we don't really have any big WrestleMania surprises, because let's be honest, The Undertaker's not a surprise.
No.
The Rock will kind of be a surprise.
Oh, totally, because it's been said that he's busy and he can't do it and blah blah blah. He would totally be a surprise. I was hoping he was there last year, and it was kind of disappointing that neither The Rock or Stone Cold showed up. I was like, well, that sucks.
But I think we get it's just going to be great. We're going to do a video package for something later on in the evening or whatever, and we're going to come back, and it's going to be late. It's going to be after the sun's down and everything, and they're going to bring up the lights, and it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, Elias, and the whole damn Superdome's going to lose its mind. And he's going to do his thing, and halfway through, you're going to get it. And it's going to be, if you smile, and the place is going to go ballistic. And you're going to see The Rock walk out, and maybe not carrying a guitar, maybe he grabs one from ringside or something. But that's going to be that, and it's going to end with, Elias is going to take a swing, and The Rock's going to duck it and rock bottom him and stand over him and, bury another talent.
Well, didn't The Rock have that bit one time before as well?
Yeah. That's why we're gonna see that. Like, he came out. Yeah. That was heel. It was basically Hollywood Rock started with that. He's gonna do a rock concert, and that was the joke. It was a rock concert, and it was the night after Mania 19, because that was when we got Goldberg.
Right.
It was that night. It was the Raw after Mania 19, and he came out and did a whole thing, and then Goldberg came out and speared him, and
Right.
And then we got that disappointing year, but
right.
But yeah, and that's why it would make sense. Here comes The Rock back out, except now the guitar's smaller than he is.
Right.
So there's that. But that'll be the Elias segment at some point, and it'll be a little later. It'll be after it gets dark, no doubt. Just because it'll be a big, huge thing, and The Rock doesn't do the early hours. No way.
I was kind of hoping Elias would host the thing.
I guess there's not going to be a host this year because they'd have announced it by now. Like, that's
right.
They've missed the boat on that one. But then we move into the women's championship matches. Charlotte and Asuka. Asuka retains, and I don't even think we get a tease of a Carmella cash in.
No,
unless, and this is a big unless Asuka is just unless this was just such a battle that Asuka's completely beat. Because that's the only way she steals it. Because the lore they've built up around Asuka, one solid kick, and that's the end of it. And they've shown that time and time again. But,
right. What if she tries to steal it from Nia?
I see. That's what I think is going to happen, because in a roundabout way. Because I think that Bliss retains. I think that Nia destroys her afterwards, and then Carmella cashes in. That's what I see happening. It's absolutely what I see happening.
Yeah.
And I see them man, this angle. Look, and the biggest crap about all this is that this is an angle almost exactly like this is why Mickie James left in the first place.
Yeah.
And that was just, and now she's actively involved in this. This just sucks.
Yeah, I don't like how they've done this.
I mean, it's just garbage, man. It's just like, Nia has blubber because she's big. Like, seriously?
They didn't even have to do that. They could have maybe said it once, and that was it.
They could have just stuck with the naive bit.
Right.
Just go with that. Nia really thought I was her friend. Nia thought I'd actually trust her.
Exactly.
I was just using her because she makes a good bodyguard, blah, 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 blah. They didn't need to turn this. I mean, it's exclusively just a fat-shaming angle. And
the thing is, it could have been more, I think it would have been more substantial if they used the real world kind of stuff where, like, they were, if they would have done it where, like, she was like, we were together since the beginning, since the day you walked in here and I talked to you and we've been, that would have way more of an impact than this mean girl shit.
Well, exactly. And this needed more than, like, 3 weeks build, too.
That's true.
Like, this needed to happen like this needed to happen before Elimination Chamber, so that she was just hell bent for leather against Asuka, and that match would have been more intense, and she still would have come out beat. But now she's just you want to be a completely unstoppable force. That's how you do it. Now Nia's just on a tear, and she's just ripping up everything in her path. And then Asuka goes to SmackDown and challenges, and then you get Nia and Bliss at Mania, and you do it that way. And I think that's a way better build than the crap that they've done. Like, the build for this has just sucked.
I bet they miss traveling with each other and stuff.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely bet.
Yeah.
So we move to the mid-card titles now. The U.S. title is absolutely anybody's ball game. I really, really, really want WrestleMania to be Rusev Day. I really do. More than anything, I want Rusev to walk out of there with that title.
That would be fantastic.
So much. But I mean, this could go anywhere. It really could go to anybody. It's a complete toss-up.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I want Rusev to win. If I could mention real fast, just take a step back just a second.
Sure.
It's going to suck to not see, Bliss and Nia on Instagram and stuff together. It's a shame that they really didn't run with their best friend thing like they should have.
Yeah.
Like the stuff with Mickey is just kind of lame. But it's like they would do it at the live shows, but they didn't do it in the main show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, because you see like the live videos of like Nia, after a match, like Nia carrying Alexa to the back and everything.
Right, or picking her up and moving her away from somebody, and that's gonna be a shame to not see anymore. It sucks they did that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think that comes back around one day.
Maybe. Yeah, I could totally see that, like a year or so from now, her being like, I fucked up. Yeah. I was an idiot.
Because I think eventually we get a women's tag division.
Yeah.
I think that's a year, 2 down the road, probably.
Yeah.
And I see that being how that happens again. I see that coming back around that way.
Oh, yeah.
The Intercontinental title triple threat is another one that could go wherever. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting. The Miz on commentary this week was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was hysterical, just
good.
playing him. I'm a new man, look at these two go. They put on an amazing show. They're giving it all they've got. And Michael Cole just being Michael Cole. Well, Miz, you've said in the past, I'm a changed man, Michael. Just absolutely playing it out, because he's full of crap. You know it more than anything. But this is gonna be a solid match, no question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who walks away with the title in this. I hope it goes to Balor. I just don't want Seth to win anything. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Seth Rollins guy. I loved back when he was a heel. I loved him because he was just as arrogant and full of crap as the day is long, and it worked. But face Rollins just doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
We have the match that Roman Reigns is going to win, and then we have the WWE title match, which had better be the freaking main event.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna lose my head. I'm not gonna start a whole cancel WWE Network, because I'm not that knee-jerk reactionary. But God, I'm just gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
If they decide to do Reigns Lesnar as the main event, that's just gonna suck.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it should be Nakamura. The thing is that they haven't built that up either.
They've been building Styles knock-up. Yeah, they have.
So.
Well, because
such a wet blanket, though.
Well,
the only reason that match is important is because we know the history between them two in Japan.
Exactly. So then just let them play off each other and everything, and kind of get in each other's heads. And it's the way that they did it with SmackDown was with the go home show tonight. Like I
didn't see that.
It was great because they tagged against American Alpha 2.0, and at the very end of it they had obviously Knock and Styles won, big shock. And then, Styles grabbed his title and he was headed out, and Benjamin jumped Nakamura because they have history from way on back in the day.
Right.
And then Nakamura took him out, and Styles leapt at him with a phenomenal forearm and then, landed it short, like the way Nak did with his Kinshasa last week. And it's great because Nakamura just kind of looked up at him and AJ smiled, and he patted him on the head like Nak did to him last week. And you watched both of these guys, kind of laugh and kind of grin about it. And then when Styles patted Knock on the head, I thought Knock was going to bite his hand off. His expression flipped in a heartbeat. But that's been the thing of, we know this is a dream match because we know how good these two are, and we know, this is a match that doesn't need build.
Right.
And what they've done has been minimal, and it's been good enough. It's been all that's needed done. They don't need to drag up, anything. The only thing that they've really dragged up about it was they showed, little one-on-one interview snippets from each one of them. And what was it that Styles said? He said this is a different time, and I'm at a different point in my game, and this ain't the Tokyo Dome. And It was just kind of ooh, they referenced it, and it's kind of been the only time they've ever actually brought it up.
Right, right.
It's been fun, and watching Knock has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
I really wish they had let him do a little more of the "I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania," because they really ran with that for 2 weeks, and then they stopped really kind of doing it.
Right.
But it's just
knee to the face.
Knee to face. So that's it. It's all you need. I'm good with that. I'm good with the way that they built it because it doesn't need anything extra.
Yeah.
And so just having them kind of and again, because you've got two faces here, you have to just kind of have this be competitive, and they've been just kind of playing little mind games with each other and everything, and it's worked. Right. I dig the way that they've booked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites to watch Sunday.
And it will without question be match of the night. There's no way unless they've screwed it up in the back somehow, or something goes terribly wrong, knock on wood, so that doesn't happen. It's going to be match of the night, no question. And a match of the year candidate instantly.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's going to be a good weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Well, I think that does it. We got Big Mania coming up Sunday, so we'll be talking about that probably for the most part next Wednesday. Any news that comes out, might talk a little bit about A Quiet Place. Maybe I'll go sneak some time somehow this week and go see that. But make sure you check out our YouTube channel, We Geek Podcast. Go to our Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at the Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Make sure you go subscribe and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Of course, we will be back next Wednesday, same time. Captain.